Hi friends. Today we are going to read a book about Harriet Tubman. So here is a picture of Harriet. Harriet was a civil rights trailblazer who led her people to freedom. So for today's letter of the day, it's going to be the letter H. H, of course, is for Harriet. So say H with me 3 times. H, H, H. Good job saying H. And as I said, H is for Harriet. So today's book is Before She Was Harriet by Lisa Klein Ransom and illustrated by James E. Ransom. So here you see the cover of the book. You see the illustration of Harriet, and the moon is in the background. There you can see a train. Before She Was Harriet, I'll show you that wonderful, colorful illustration. So here she sits, an old woman, tired and worn, her legs stiff, her back achy. And there you can see her face, Harriet Tubman. But before wrinkles formed and her eyes felled, before she reached her twilight years, she could walk for miles and see clearly under a sky lit only with stars. And there you can see her when she was younger. Before she was an old woman, she was a suffragist, a voice for women who had none in marriages, in courts, in voting booths. Before her voice became soft and raspy, it was loud and angry, rising above injustice. And you can see Harriet there speaking to other women. Before she was a suffragist, she was General Tubman, rising out of the fog, armed with courage, strong in the face of rebels and planters and overseers as they watched fields burn and bridges fall and 700 slaves stop chopping and start running, to a woman who ferried them to freedom on the Combahee River, turned River Jordan. You can see her there leading her people. Before she was General Tubman, she was a Union spy, carrying secrets across battlefields to soldiers fighting in the Civil War for President Lincoln to end slavery. So you can see her there hiding behind the tree. She was collecting information. She was being a spy for President Lincoln. Before she was a Union spy, she was a nurse, caring for those hit with bullets and hatred and fear, tending to them with bandages and words and the bloodied dirt of Southern soil. So you can see her there during the Civil War, treating people who had been injured. Before she was a nurse, she was Aunt Harriet. I bet some of you have aunts. a daughter of Ben and Rit, who helped her parents flee their master and find their way through woods and streams to the safety of Canada and a new home in the north. So you can see her there. There's snow on the ground. I bet it was pretty cold to have all that snow on the ground. Before she was Aunt Harriet, she was Moses, a conductor of an underground railroad with no trains and no tracks, just passengers traveling to freedom up north through swamps, past slave catchers, across rivers, under the cover of night. So you can see them there walking through the woods, through the forest, headed towards freedom. Seeking the promised land for her people, led by dreams and God and faith. A wisp of a woman with the courage of a lion. She was a very brave person to help free so many people. Before she was Moses, she was Minty of Maryland, of one slave owner. And then others who worked her punished her with lashes, broke her back, but not her spirit. Friends, isn't that nice to know that people can only break our spirit if we let them? Before she was Minty, she was Araminta, a young girl taught by her father to read. The woods and the stars at night, readying for the day. You see her there looking up at that night sky, and you see her dad. Waiting for that day, she'd leave behind slavery, along with her name, and pick a new one, Harriet. So there she is, paving her new path. And remember, her days as a suffragist, as a general, as a spy, as a nurse, as Aunt Harriet, as Moses, as a conductor, as Minty, as Araminta, who dreamed of living long enough to one day be old and stiff and achy, tired and worn and wrinkled and free. So she made it to freedom with hard work and perseverance. So a note from the author to the guiding force of all the women who have led the way through courage, strength, perseverance, and intellect. Harriet Tubman, Fannie Lou Hamer, Toni Morrison, Michelle Obama, Viola Davis, Anne Sneed, and Ernestine Klein. And finally, to Black women who have carried the weight of family and work with grace and dignity. Friends, I hope you enjoyed our story today on Harriet Tubman. If you go to the comments below, you'll find activities. I hope this found you happy, healthy, and safe, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.